you guys come off a good result, great result actually,
Yeah.
good momentum going forward. Building off of that, you're now hit on the road. How do you make sure that you guys continue to carry that same momentum and not put too much pressure on you guys?
Yeah, I think a big message this week was just not getting complacent. And, these days, these first 2 training days back from wins like that are really important. And I think we've handled that well. I think guys have still showed up and trained hard. And I think our trainings have been a lot better. They've been more competitive the last couple of weeks, and that's paid off. And then, just getting a couple wins under your belt, everyone feels a little bit better. And, I think this stretch is a huge stretch. I don't remember the last time we've had 3 away games in 7 days. So big stretch, but feeling good about it because we've got depth. And
Speaking of the depth, Sandra Hart alluded to the fact that there seems to be real competition now for spots. How do you maintain the healthiness of the group, the camaraderie, but still compete against each other?
Yeah, I think, I've said this before, but, the way we can use our depth as a strength is really important. I think, everyone has a task individually to push themselves a little bit more and also, not look sideways, focus on what they can do best, because I think we have so many different weapons in different places, and there's depth in a lot of different spots, especially in the attack. So focusing on what we do well and also kind of embracing that competition right now is going to be important.
Going off of Jose's question, you individually, you have grinded for every minute that you've gotten, you've grown on your game, you've developed, and still now you're still feeling like you're having to keep that spot. Ryan Kent comes in, does all these wonderful things. How do you handle that?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think, I actually had a conversation with my mom the other day. She went and had me watch clips from a game a year ago, and just kind of reminded myself of where I was a year ago, and surprised I got put on the field, to be honest. But no, in all seriousness, I think just continuing to focus on my process is huge, and I think this is really exciting right now. I think everyone can feel that we have a really talented team, and my focus is just staying on my process, what I can do to get better, and also embracing all the talent we have. I'm excited to get on the field with Ryan too, and have us be on the field together. That's exciting for me, and just focusing on the team success too. I think it can be hard at times. Everyone wants to play as many minutes as they can, and that's my mentality about it.
Was she showing you the game from the St. Louis game, maybe, when you came off the bench and were just kind of helping close that out?
Why'd you bring up that one specifically? Huh?
Well, I'm just wondering when you were playing last year at this time.
I watched a couple of games. I watched I came in for 30 minutes against LA in April, and came in off the bench early against RSL last year, and that's been cool. Doing all the video and having the library of that, you can go back and see all that, and focusing on those minute little gains, those little tinkering. Even this weekend, I think there are some positive moments, but also some moments that I'm excited to get a little bit better at.
But it has to be sort of ground. I would imagine that's a pretty grounding thing to just remember where you were a year ago, and because you hadn't started playing a lot of minutes at that point.
Yeah, for sure. A year ago and 2 weeks ago, I didn't make the first team roster, and I didn't make the second team roster because we had too many guys playing with the second team, and that was a really dark moment for me. Remember I think it was a Vancouver game. I was watching in the stands with my family and my girlfriend, and I said to them, these are going to make the highs higher, some of these moments. But, there were, and it's helpful now because there's guys in similar spots. And I can say, hey, look, I was there. I was just where you were, not even a year ago. Or, I was, some of the second team guys, I was where you were 2 years ago. And speaking of that, what a game yesterday. I was super happy for those guys. I I thought a lot of them performed really well. It's really fun watching the Timbers struggle against Tacoma, and the atmosphere was great, and I was a little envious of those guys. You know, that was a fun game to play in.
Did you get to? Were you there?
I was. Yeah.
What did you make of the atmosphere?
I thought it was great. It's a bit frustrating finding parking at the beginning of the game. I really like the great atmosphere.
That line to get into?
Yeah, I was in that line. But yeah, great atmosphere. I thought the guys handled it really well. You know, leading the Timbers for 30 plus minutes at the end of that game, and yeah, I thought a lot of young guys stepped up, and it's just cool to see the next guy stepping up, right?
On a more lighthearted note, Nuhu scored a goal over the weekend and the place erupted. But during film study, were you guys able to look at the film and inquire why he picked that spot as opposed to the rest of the net?
Yeah. You know, I love seeing a Nuhu goal. I think everybody does, and I don't know if he could have put it anywhere else, but right there.
Well,
yeah.
Sounder Hart alluded to the fact that he literally put it in the only spot that the goalie could have reached.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys are going to head to Houston, a place where you score your first goal and you've had so much success. Do you feel like there's some sort of gravitational pull where you feel like when you're in Houston, you just play great?
Yeah, I like Houston. I don't know what it is. I think, you know, once you get a story in your head about those types of things, it can add an extra bit of confidence, and I definitely feel that way going over there. You know, we've had success over there in the past, but it's gonna be a difficult game. It has some new pieces. You know, McGlynn's a new piece, and I forget the number 9 that they just added. He's a good new player too, and makes them look a little different. So we've been focusing on that this week, but yeah, 3 really exciting games this week. I mean, Houston away, LA, and then Timbers on the road. I mean,
Schmitz, obviously reached 130 regular season wins. Huge milestone for him this past Saturday, putting him in the top 10 all-time for MLS coaches. So what do you think this milestone says about him as a coach?
Well, I mean, that's very impressive. I have no idea how many games I've won as a player, but it sounds like a lot more than that. But yeah, it's impressive. It speaks to, his success here at the club, and also his tenure here. It's been long, and I think that's allowed us to have a lot of success in different ways. The stability of that has been really good for the players and the organization, and crafting an identity as a club. So hopefully you can keep moving up that list.
Paul, one of the things that you have been able to lean on is your support system, and given the fact that a lot of youth need a lot of support, especially nowadays with social media and all this like voices talking to them. What kind of message do you have for people who are trying to find their way in the world and their craft for you? And what type of advice do you give them to lean on people to seek help?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's really difficult right now for a lot of reasons. I think I was asking some adults the other day, like, did the world feel this anxious, when you were younger? And I think there's ebbs and flows of that, but I think social media is really challenging and really dangerous for a lot of people. I try to stay off of it as much as possible. I haven't been on it the last few weeks. I have my sister do some of my Instagram posts. That helps me. But I think, finding out what makes you tick, what brings you joy, it's really important. I think knowing who you are, that's a good question. I might have to think about that one a little bit more. Get back to you.
Just to bring it down to a whole different level here, are you a Champions League guy? Are you watching?
Yeah.
What do you got today? Arsenal, PSG, anybody?
I want PSG to win the whole thing, because then we get to play against the best team in the world. So I'm rooting for PSG. The game yesterday that might have been the best Champions League series I've watched in a while. It was special, but yeah, I'm going for PSG all the way. I think they're favored as well. So.
Thank you.
About just Schmetz as a coach. How would you describe him as a coach, and what has it been like just to work with him the past few years?
Yeah, Schmetz is kind of like a big watchful eye. I think he's paying attention to all the little facets of what's going on, like the minutia of the team and the relationships the guys have with each other. And I've noticed as I've gotten to work with him more, he's picking up on a lot of things, and he's built a really good staff around him that he has a lot of trust in too, and gives them a lot of runway as well. But I think he's a good man manager, and like working with those different relationships between guys who are in different places in the roster, but I also think he has a lot of Seattle in him, and I think that shines through every year. You see that, and we can rally off of that sometimes too.